Every time I meet someone or talk to someone or just say hi, just greet someone. And they say, hey, how's it going? My brain scans my story. My brain scans my day, my week, my whatever, my life, and reports all that is gone wrong, right? Because that's just kind of how our human beings function, right? We always look at the downfall. I don't know if you ever had this experience too, where someone says, "How are you doing?" And you're like, "Oh, my brain scans through. I've said this before about 95% of my life could be like, oh, it's great. It's actually really, really good. But what do I talk about? Like, what do I see? What do I look for? I report on the 5%. Well, this is really a hard thing right now. This is kind of a struggle for me right now. Even if 90% of life, 95% of life is great, how rarely do I take the opportunity to report on the great and just look for the negative? Not only look for the negative, I remember the negative. I don't know if you've been in this situation, the author says, where I get in notes or messages, people even tell me like positive comments. I don't know if you've been, if I get one comment, one negative comment, one critical comment, I mean, that's the one that stays with me. And I'm not alone. There's a psychologist named John Gottman. John Gottman talks about this. He says, actually, to balance out the negative comment, one negative comment, you need at least five positive comments for every negative comment. You need five positive comments to draw out the negative comment. So when it comes to like what do I look for in my life, I oftentimes look for the negative. I oftentimes look for this thing to complain about, and maybe if this is it, maybe that we're biologically hardwired to look for the negative. I definitely am. Me personally, as your host, I definitely do. I think at the same point, looking for the negative kept our ancestors alive. They are seeing the rustling of the bushes. It's like I'm not going, I'm not going to examine that. I'm not going to run away because it might be something good, might be some food, might be something nice. It probably also could be a saber-toothed tiger. So our biological hardwiring to look for the negative in the past, I think, kept us alive. But in the modern world, it keeps us stuck. To find ourselves or always looking at the negative is to be stuck on the outside looking in. To always look for the negative is to find ourselves on the outside looking in. I'm not sorry about that. I keep pacing a lot. Same thing. We've been following the story of the parable of the prodigal son and the reflections I was listening to. And there's a moment right in the story that Jesus tells where the younger son, has come home. And his father ran out to meet him. He brings him in. They slaughter the fattened calf. They celebrate. The party goes on and on and on. They probably had the whole thing go all night. Hopefully, they had some good old Norway wine. They probably, I mean, they didn't, but hopefully, they had good wine just like that. And then at this point of the parable, the older son walks up and realizes the celebration is going on. A party is right here. He realizes my brother's alive. In this moment, he realizes there is a reason to rejoice, and the older brother is stuck. He sees a moment of real joy, and all he can see, all he's looking for in this times moment, is a reason to be angry. So in our life, what we're looking for, in our story, in our autobiography, there are many times we're faced with this invitation to enter joy, but we're stuck on the outside looking in. Sometimes, so often, we look for the reasons not to celebrate. Right? I mean, maybe you do this at a family gathering, right? It's, maybe it's holidays, maybe it's our first communion, maybe it's a coffee, maybe it's just getting together on a great sunny afternoon.